Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This was brought to my attention whilst I was looking on a couple of sites about the ever-going song and dance about the Power Rangers sequel, even though the film failed to underperform at failed to perform at the box office. Star was big trouble in China, which did not help much with low ticket sales in a nation where films do pretty damn well. That people were fearing that they might put a dent in the hopes of a sequel. And I discussed this at wavelength in the site in the comment section about fans are not backing down and refusing to accept it's going to happen. The sequel isn't going to happen, and such. And they mentioned that the press was quick to put in the knife into the ever excellent 2012 version of Dread that starred Carl Urban, that fans gave it a great appraisal because it was not a paled imitation of the Stallone version from '95, in which the actor is still champion to this very day chances of a sequel. And as I said, in a couple of videos, one of them was Power Rangers sequel hopes. What I think if there should be a sequel on the horizon, so I said probably so, and that. But on the flip side, there was the other video I did explaining how the media was so quick to savage the film by giving it very low ratings and that, and using the characters Billy, Cranston, and Trini as scapegoats due to the fact that Trini was an LGBT lesbian and Cranston was a autistic, and they fought the whole notion on having a lesbian Power Ranger and autistic superhero was a dumb idea in a superhero centric film that would have led onto greater things if the film did connect and was large in numbers. But due to the rapidly in the faith of their fans and by supporting it by via going out buying the toys, and soon they will be buying it on physical media and digital when it gets released. They're hoping that should be more than enough to put these media savage naysayers to rest and say, look, we're not backing down. We want this to happen. We will give up without a fight, and etc. And the most recently, I had a look on a couple of sites, and they said the Dean Israelite is having a discussion with execs at Lionsgate and Saban Entertainment, and that hoping to get the ball rolling on the sequel, but that is not set in stone because it's still yet to be released in Japan. And they're still hoping to the sales and the merchandise will do so well and to cement a follow. And on one side, it says this year's release of Power Rangers left the possibility of continuing the franchise in question. The movie certainly set up a sequel, but what are the odds of one actually happening? Question mark. Power Rangers opened big, but only took in 85 million domestically overall on a budget of 100 million. Unlike the case with most domestic flops and disappointments this year, including The Mummy, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man Tells No Tales, and Transformers The Last Night, the film did not meet expectations in China, a market that grows more important by the day. So, no sequel, right? The question mark. Director Dean Israelite isn't as convinced that the franchise is dead upon arrival. Thanks to Scream Rant brought it up, and Scream Rant asked the director if a second movie could possibly still happen. I hope so. It's obviously not up to me, but I know the studio Lionsgate and Saban are talking in earnest about it and are trying to push forward. They're having a discussion. I hope so. It doesn't mean squat, but the fact that Saban and Lionsgate are discussing a sequel means we may still get to see the Green Ranger after all. Apparently, toy sales have been strong, so if we do get a sequel, you may have to retailers and children to thank for that or blame for it, depending how you feel about the latest iteration of Power Rangers, in which I said that wavelength that the sales of the toys is still going through the roof. If it's good for Michael Bay's Transformers, then it's good for Power Rangers. And if this is going to happen, there's one actress that should redeem herself in the sequel, which is Elizabeth Banks. I hope to God she will pull through and do a better job the next time. If this is going to be the case scenario, if she's going to come back to reprise her role as Rita, and etc. Power Rangers director wants a sequel to include Lord Zed. Despite having a disappointing performance at the box office, Power Rangers director Dean Israelite recently revealed that the sequel discussions were currently taking place between Lionsgate and Saban. Whilst this does not mean a sequel to the Power Rangers reboot will move forward, it depends. The filmmaker already has plans on which the villain he would like it to include a potential second film. In an interview with comicbook.com, Israelite revealed that he would like a sequel to feature the classic franchise villain Lord Zed. Power Rangers director sequels, the discussions happening. Would you like to see Lord Zed as the antagonist in the Power Rangers sequel? Share your thoughts below. Saban's Power Rangers follows 5 ordinary teens who must become something extraordinary when they learn that the small town of Angel Grove and the world is on the verge of being obliterated by an alien threat. Chosen by destiny, our heroes quickly discover they are the only ones who saved the planet. But to do so, they will have to overcome their real life issues, and before it's too late, band together as the Power Rangers, and etc. And like I said, it's all the, the it, it's depending on the toy sales and digital and physical media sales of the film that to ride upon the the light at the end of the tunnel for the sequel to happen. Then this article it says in the past few years it seems like the trend of nostalgia is everywhere. Tons of TV and film properties are being rebooted or given a long-awaited sequels, cashing in on the 20 to 30 years old who long for a simple life and the one bit of 90s pop culture that made an unexpected movie move into the mainstream lexicon was the Power Rangers movie. Power Rangers brought back the characters and settings from the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series for a live-action blockbuster adventure, and unfortunately the film wasn't quite the box office success it was hoping for, and it seemed like the goal hope for a sequel was lost until now. Like I said with length, about how the press are willing to quash the possibilities of a sequel from happening, but there's so many optimism and the spirit within the foundations of the core fan base that won't give up until they see it happen, and that's by buying the merchandise and that and by being the hell out of it and etc. Yeah, is great news, but I would take this with a grain of salt. It's, until I know that it's gonna happen, and that because some people who does these videos on YouTube oftenly gets giddy and overexcited and said, "Oh, I told you so! It's gonna happen! It's gonna happen! It's gonna happen! It's gonna happen! It's gonna happen!" and all this. Then people jumps on that false sense of security. I don't want to put people through that in case it doesn't happen, and etc. And I don't want that to happen, and etc. I just want to be open-minded to say, yeah, the possibilities are endless, but it doesn't mean the case it will still actually happen. I always have a skeptic nature when it comes to things like this. But I think that it could still possibly happen. But we still to find out in the months to, should say weeks to come, with more developments in hand start to come out about the sequel chances of it happening, and that. And until then, this is me, Frankie Croft Smales. Thank you for watching, and follow me on Twitter at Frankie Smales. I'm on Blogger, Facebook, and other media outlets. And wherever you are in the world, have a good night, or a good day wherever you are in other parts of the world. And I will follow up this as developments still unfold about the Power Rangers sequel. And until then, I'm here to serve the world and fairly well.